What if I told you that the Maple Leafs could be just one trade away from solidifying their playoff dreams? The buzz around the league is heating up, and speculation is rife about a key addition that could elevate our team's performance. Are we about to witness a transformative moment for the franchise? The excitement is palpable, and we're diving deep into what this could mean for our beloved Leafs. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up to stay in the loop on all the latest developments. As a passionate fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, I've been keeping a close eye on the latest trade rumors and strategies as we move deeper into the season. It's clear that the Leafs are at a crossroads. With playoff aspirations and the Stanley Cup in sight, the pressure is mounting to make the right moves. But as we sift through the latest targets on the trade market, I can't help but feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. Frank Saravalli recently shared a list of players who could potentially be on the Leafs' radar, and honestly, there are some names on that list that make me raise an eyebrow. Take Yanni Gorda, for instance. I know many fans are clamoring for him, but I'm not convinced he's the right fit. Sure, he brings energy and grit, but at what cost? With his status as an impending unrestricted free agent, the rental price could be steep. Plus, he hasn't been producing at the elite level we need. If Austin Matthews or John Tavares were to go down with an injury, would we really want to rely on him? It feels like a gamble, and I'm not sure it's one worth taking. Then there's David Savard. Every year I find myself saying no to this guy, and I'm standing firm again. Savard might fill a role as a depth defender, but let's be honest, he doesn't address the real needs of this team. The Leafs require a player who can contribute both offensively and defensively, not just someone who can hold down the fort on the third pairing. If we're looking for a partner for Morgan Reilly, we need more than just a temporary solution. If Hakan Par is nearing a return, I'd prefer to explore that option before considering Savard. Now, let's talk Dylan Cozens. I can't deny that. The thought of adding a player with his potential is tantalizing. He's big, young, and has a lot to offer. But here's the catch. His contract and the impact on the salary cap could be a real headache. The Leafs are in the midst of a competitive window, and putting all our eggs in the Cozens basket feels risky. While he could eventually pay off, it's a big leap for a playoff push. If we're looking for a center, I'd much rather we target someone with a proven track record and a clear role, and then there's Josh Anderson. I have to say, I'm puzzled by the interest in him. He's not consistent enough offensively, and doesn't seem to possess the skill set to thrive in Toronto's system. Plus, with our current needs, he just doesn't fit. I want players who can elevate our game, not ones who might leave us wanting more. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of potential trades, but we have to remember what's at stake here. The Leafs have a delicate balance to maintain between the present and the future. We want to win now, but we can't mortgage our future for short-term gains. We've seen this play out before with past trades that left us scratching our heads. It's crucial that Brad Treliving navigates this landscape carefully. As fans, we live and breathe this team, and every decision the management makes impacts our dreams and aspirations. Do you think this was the best decision? Honestly, I'm torn. I want to see the Maple Leafs succeed, but I also want them to build something sustainable for the future. It's a fine line to walk, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Darren Dreger has just weighed in on the Mitch Marner situation, and as a passionate Toronto Maple Leafs fan, I can't help but feel a mix of excitement and concern. With the NHL trade landscape shifting and the recent success of Mikko Rantanen's deal, the question on everyone's mind is whether Marner could be the next big name on the move. Dreger suggests that while the circumstances might seem similar on the surface, there are crucial differences that could keep Marner in Toronto. Marner has a no-move clause, meaning if a trade were to happen, he would have to approve it. This is significant because, as Dreger points out, it's hard to see why he'd want to leave. Where could he realistically have a better shot at winning a Stanley Cup? Sure, teams like Florida or Vegas could come up in conversation, but their status as contenders is far from guaranteed as the trade deadline approaches. It honestly doesn't seem likely that Marner will be dealt away from the team he loves, especially given the mutual desire to keep him in Toronto. What's more telling is that Marner has expressed a desire to remain a Leaf for life. That's something that resonates deeply with us fans. We want to see our stars committed to the team, battling for the ultimate prize. The only real hurdle appears to be the contract negotiations themselves. If Marner were to sit down with Brad Treliving today, I believe they would be more than willing to talk extension. But here's the kicker. Marner has publicly stated he doesn't want to discuss contracts right now, which complicates things a bit. Meanwhile, there's the shadow of Auston Matthews' contract hanging over the situation. Reports indicate that the Leafs might not be inclined to offer Marner as much as Matthews, and that's where it gets tricky. Are we looking at a potential rift between what Marner wants and what the team is willing to pay? This is not just a simple trade. It's a matter of how much the organization values him compared to other stars. The landscape of the NHL is shifting, and a deal like Rantanen's adds pressure to Marner's situation. When you look at Marner's talent, it's clear he's among the elite in the league. He's consistently performed at a high level, and his value is undeniable. As Drager mentioned, the buzz around his potential trade is already palpable, and it's not just Leafs fans who are paying attention. The entire hockey world is watching how this unfolds, which speaks volumes about Marner's capabilities and the expectations surrounding him. Now, rumors are swirling that Marner could command a salary between $13 and $14 million per season. There are teams out there with the cap space willing to throw substantial offers his way. If the Leafs are worried about their internal salary cap, it raises the stakes. Offering Marner an 8-year deal at $12.95 million seems reasonable, totaling over $100 million. But let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things, that extra $250,000 isn't going to make or break Marner's love for the Leafs. If money were the only factor, we might start wondering just how committed Marner is to the franchise and its fans. But I choose to believe his connection runs deeper. He has a chance to not only chase a championship this year, but potentially etch his name into the history of one of the most storied franchises in sports. That legacy is priceless. So, what do we make of all this? Is it the right path for Marner to stay with the Leafs? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, keeping him solidifies our chances for a deep playoff run. On the other, if the money isn't right, it could lead to a messy situation down the road. It's a balancing act that Treliving and the front office must navigate carefully. And what do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. Will Marner sign an extension, or are we looking at a potential trade down the line? Let's debate it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on everything Toronto Maple Leafs. And remember to activate the notification bell to get all the latest updates. The journey is just beginning, and we're all in this together as we chase that elusive cup.